On September 8, 1900, a devastating hurricane strikes Galveston, Texas. It is the deadliest natural disaster in U.S. history, and the fourth deadliest Atlantic hurricane in recorded world history. Galveston Island is about 28 miles long by 2 miles wide with a deep water harbor. It is located just off the Texas coast, about 50 miles from Houston. The island and city are named after Spanish General Bernardo de Galvez, who attacked and defeated British forces during the American Revolution at multiple locations on what is now the U.S. Gulf Coast. His most famous victory was at Pensacola, Florida in 1781. By the year 1900, Galveston was a major trading hub, with multiple railway connections stemming from its port. The Category 4 hurricane hit Galveston with sustained winds of at least 155 miles per hour. The storm surge caused water to cover nearly the entire island. The wind and waves toppled buildings, ripping off their slate roofs, which became flying weapons of destruction. St. Mary's Orphanage collapsed, killing everyone inside. 1,000 people huddled in the Ursuline Convent for shelter, but it collapsed. Ships in Galveston Harbor were tossed into one another, with some found as far as 30 miles away. Survivors reported seeing corpses floating all over and around the island. The destruction on the Texas coast was so vast that the exact number of victims remains unknown. Estimates range between 6,000 and 12,000 people. Clara Barton of the Red Cross arrived in Galveston soon after the disaster. She said, "It would be difficult to exaggerate the awful scene here." Temporary shelters were set up for survivors using surplus U.S. Army tents along the shore. These were so numerous that people began referring to Galveston as the White City on the beach. The hurricane's remnants brought heavy rainfall on a path that stretched all the way to Canada. Galveston began to rebuild right away. By 1910, the population reached 36,000 people. In 1902, construction began on a massive 17-foot-high seawall. Thanks to this and other efforts, when a comparable storm hit in 1915, only 8 people died. Plaques in Galveston today mark the structures which survived the 1900 hurricane. Here are other events that happened today in history. In 1504, Michelangelo's iconic 17-foot-tall marble statue David is unveiled to the public. In 1664, the Dutch surrender New Amsterdam to the British, who rename it New York. In 1760, French forces in Montreal surrendered to the British during the French and Indian War. In 1935, populist politician Huey Long is assassinated at the Louisiana state capitol. In 1941, the Germans begin their 872-day siege of Leningrad, where 1.2 million civilians die. In 1974, U.S. President Ford pardons former President Nixon, who had resigned a month earlier. In 2022, Britain's Queen Elizabeth II dies in Scotland at age 96, and Charles III becomes king. And now it's time for our Today in History quiz. Which human organ has been transplanted the most in U.S. history? The heart, the kidney, the liver, or the lung? Think you know the answer? Drop your guesses in the comments below. Find out if you're right next time on Today in History. You made it through Today in History. Nice work. Now treat yourself. Click the video on the right for what happened yesterday in history. Still can't get enough? The link on the left's got the whole playlist buffet. Want to make history a daily habit? Click my face in the middle to subscribe.